Morning folks. So just a bit of a follow-up really to yesterday's video. I've just been listening to the British Bullshit Corporation, and they're talking about failed states, and they've upped the threat level to run around with pulling your hair and screaming with your arms in the air. But where do they go from there? They're expecting more attacks. Does that mean they're planning more attacks? I'm afraid I'm very sceptical these days. They said the bomber was Libyan. Well, that doesn't really make any difference where he's come from. It's what's in his head and where he got it from that's more important. And they're slagging off Libya, saying it's a failed state. Well, it's a failed state for a good reason. It's because us and the Americans bombed the shit out of it, murdered Gaddafi. I don't know if you've seen the video when they found Gaddafi in the culvert. They had hold of him, the locals had hold of him, whoever found him, Libyans. And a Caucasian white man, very lean, very fit, very tall, walks out the crowd with a 9mm pistol, slots him a few times, and just walks back into the crowd and disappears. So Gaddafi never had a trial; he was just murdered. And the reason he was murdered because he wanted to sell his oil in a gold-backed dinar, and that would have threatened the petrodollar. Since then, the American puppet government that's been running Libya has been opposed by the people, the ordinary people, men and women on the streets. And so now they say it's a failed state because the ordinary men and women are pissed right off with having a puppet government that's only in there for the big banks, corporations, and the US and British governments, amongst others, of course. And then this is the result. Yesterday's the result. If the security services didn't have any hand in yesterday's bombing, or the day before's bombing, then they were directly responsible by causing Libya to become a war zone. And whatever you hear on the mainstream news, you'll never actually hear them say that. They'll say it in a roundabout way without saying it, so you don't really notice. But they'll never tell you, the real reason why I went into Libya. It wasn't to get rid of Gaddafi. So now they're talking about army on the streets. Well, if you actually look at our constitution, and we have got written constitution, it's just not in one book, it's in lots of books, because it's over 1,000 years of law. So we have got a constitution, and in the constitution it basically says that we shouldn't have a standing army. It's illegal for the government to have a standing army. And it's also illegal for Parliament to levy taxes outside of war. So behind the Speaker's chair there's another chair, and a guy called the Remembrancer sits there every morning in Parliament. The Speaker has a word with the Remembrancer and asks him if we're still at war. And the Remembrancer says yes. The Remembrancer is the liaison between the City of London and Parliament. Once he said yes, that gives the Parliament to act as though we're at war, basically. So they can levy taxes. It effectively means we've been under martial law for several hundred years, ever since they started. I'm not sure exactly when they started levying income tax. but that's why they can do it, and that's why they can put army on the streets. But I'd like to know where they're going to get these soldiers from, considering they've sold out our army to the amalgamated them into the new European army. I don't know if you know, but our armed forces are directly controlled from Brussels now. We haven't got any armed forces. They're controlled from Northwood. There's 100 EU staff in Northwood, which is a nuclear control centre. And there's several other places around the country, including down here at St Morgan, which has got French troops in it as well. So it's wheels within wheels. What you see on the TV is not the truth. They'll never tell you the truth, because they know that they find themselves on the end of a pitchfork. I'm sure half of them haven't got a bloody clue what's going on. So anyway, I'm going to keep this one a bit shorter than normal, he said, rambling on. Anyway, have a good day all.